Anybody else want to say this is the last call for? Usually we have a 3-minute limit. I'm letting it go a little bit longer.
No, maybe next.
No, I'm saying for the council. Bill Knights.
I'm Bill Knights. I live at 521 Riverdale Circle. All of you know me. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Poza on becoming our new chief, but I will echo the thoughts of the rest of this group. Watch your back. Shame on all of you. I've been here for 24 years. I've attended more council meetings than some of you that sit up there right now. And I'm appalled of your behavior. I'm very proud of the letter that I put in the Stowe Center. And I'm very proud of these people that took advantage to come here tonight.
What was that published?
Pardon me?
Just wait.
The night.
Maybe you should read your paper weekly, Mr. Barnes.
Usually get to it around Thursday.
I'm amazed at how the rules change from week to week in this administration. From the way you voted the first time in a deadlock for council replacement. There were 2 rounds of votes. It's all on public record on that tape, which I've requested, and it's a slow process to get. The next council meeting, you were deadlocked again. But your voting procedures changed. You only voted once. And as a citizen that just comes here to learn and care about my city, I am totally dismayed. I'm dismayed tonight that people won't answer people's questions. Mr. Allen, we get more than 3 minutes tonight. This is not a council meeting. And I'm just ashamed at the behavior that's happened in this community and everybody else's. And if you don't want to answer our questions and you don't want to straighten things up that we, the citizens, put you in office for, read the Ohio Revised Code. There's ways that we can petition to get people out of office. There's parts of the same channels. I don't want to see it come to that. But you need to listen to us. You've listened to me for years. I'm only in here with the Stowe Reporter. Mr. Stahl's come lately. I didn't want to come for about a year because I was tired of it. I'm glad to see the department heads. If you remember back in the day when the mayor took over, these men and women would come to every council meeting to answer our questions and give reports. That no longer exists. The police issue is the tip of the iceberg in this community, and you know it. You know that. And as for right and wrong, I am appalled to leave a meeting when it's been dismissed and see what I think is a quorum of council members, 4 of 7, and the mayor in a private conference over there. And if that's not in violation of the Sunshine Law, I don't know what might be. And what we talk about over there, I don't believe is the weather. And these are things that I see. These people don't see it because they don't get involved, but they are tonight, and they need to know what happens in this room. And that's why I wrote that letter, in disgust, because of your behavior, of what these people went to the polls for, in a democratic society, hoping that you would represent us. And we can disagree, and we can debate, and we'll come to a happy medium. And I might not like it, or you might not like it. But you're here as servants to the community. And this issue with the police chief is, as I said, just the tip of the iceberg, and you know that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next we have Israel Puglisi.
Hi, I'll make this real quick.
Would you pronounce your last name correctly?
Puglisi, 3
Okay.
syllables. Puglisi. I get that all the time.
Sorry.
First, I'd like to say what a beautiful thing we have here. I mean, the ability for someone like me to come up and speak to elected officials, it's a very encouraging thing. With that said, I guess my question, I don't have a question. I came here tonight to kind of find out what was going to happen in regards to the police chief in this city. I guess I was discouraged when I sat down and I heard the mayor refer to Mr. Posen as the chief. I heard you refer to making assignments inside of the police department. And here I am, I came to find out what the vote was. So I guess, and maybe it's naive, maybe it's, I don't know the process. True story, when I just moved here to Munroe Falls, I was shocked when I saw your signs. I didn't know, I knew that you were the mayor, but I also saw some signs out there. I was talking to a coworker of mine, and I thought maybe Munroe Falls had like a time limit on the mayor or something, so it was kind of a shock. I guess what I'm showing is my naiveness. I thought that the process that was referred to earlier was a little bit different. I thought tonight I was coming here to find out if this man would be the new chief of police. However, prior to even the vote, I guess that's happening at 8 o'clock in a special conference, the decision's made. I mean, with that, I'm leaving. I don't need to be here. So I guess that, if that's the process, if that's the way that it's done, it's, you make a decision, you swear an individual in, and everyone else just kind of takes it. If that's the process, that's fine. But like I said, maybe it's naive. I'm not a public person. I'm not a, well, I can't say I'm not public, but at any rate, I guess, like I said, if the decision has been made and the votes of all of you are irrelevant, then I venture to say that all of you are irrelevant. That's all.
May I say a few things?
Go ahead.
First of all, I want to thank all of you for coming tonight. I think it is very good, regardless of the issues, regardless of how you feel, to have members of the public here at City Hall finding out at our council meetings, participating, because many nights it is Mr. Knights and a reporter from the Century, so I think that's good. It is clear, it comes as no surprise to the administration or to anybody that I am opposed to what happened to Rick Myers. I don't feel it was proper. And I've been right up front about that the whole way. I feel that the number of police chiefs and service directors that we've had in 10 years under the mayor is an extremely high turnover. I feel you should answer questions. I will tell you, and me and the mayor don't see eye to eye too many things, and that could be part of the reason. But I was never advised by anybody from the administration or on this council that there was anything that was dissatisfactory about Mr. Myers' job performance, other than Mr. Iona did make the comment about the not having the new SUV in the parade. That's the only thing that was ever told. I would think if somebody had a question about the performance of a police professional, whether they thought I was good or bad, they might ask me. 22 plus years doing it. There's a number of chiefs that individuals in this council and the administration know. They might ask them. I don't know if that ever happened or not, but I do not think philosophical differences, whatever that means, there are reasons that the Ohio Revised Code gives protection to police departments for undue influence. I don't want to be in a situation, I don't want our city to be in a situation where if a department head tells the mayor no, that they lose their job, and they're put in that, what do I do? Do I do what's right, or do I do what the mayor tells me? And I cannot say that the mayor has ever done anything like this, and I don't want this to be, taken that way, but it's not a big step from philosophical differences to who gets ticketed and things like that. And he has never asked for that, and I don't want that to even be any concern of anybody's, But that's the reason those protections exist. The police department has to be an independent body. He answers to the chief answers to the mayor, the council, and follows the general direction. But there is case law that says the mayor cannot say who goes on what shift and who gets what assignment. We ignore it. Court orders Sergeant Smith to be paid after the city files all its appeals. We ignore it. I believe we didn't follow.
That's not true, Steve. No, it's not true. We're not ignoring it. We made an effort to come to an agreement. There was a difference of opinion in the amount, and the response was he filed.
Mr. Matt will tell you this, Mr. Morrison told me it was resolved, and it isn't.
Let me finish.
Sure.
So we'll let, since Mr. Smith has already filed with the court, we'll let the court determine if what he states he is owed and what we had presented, which one is right, and that. I mean, he didn't. We didn't have any discussions. He just filed with the court. So.
Well, the Supreme Court, I believe, refused to hear the case in March of 2013. Am I correct? That's when they declined cert on the case. It's now 2014.
I don't know. You'd have to talk to the law director.
Well, if you look at the Supreme Court website, you'll find it. In just a year, almost, just 11 months. So,
my understanding, they heard it. So,
thank you for your involvement. I urge you to continue to stay involved. Hold us accountable. I absolutely want you to hold me accountable for what I do and what I say.
And I'd like to add too that I don't think the students sitting up here wouldn't agree with that as well. Is you did elect us or not. If you voted for one of the other of us, now you did. We are accountable to you. We do want to hear what you have to say. But bear in mind, there are things that we cannot talk about publicly. It's just not simply not appropriate. And again, we're here to serve you.
I just say in closing, thank you very much for coming out. We appreciate your opinions and your response and your effort to sit through this past over an hour, 15 minutes, and hope to see your faces again. And just in closing, two remarks I want to make for the record. Being the head of community economic development, keeping Munroe Falls a little over 5,000 population city on the map. One of the big things is the Stowe Munroe Falls Chamber's 4th of July parade. And the comment was taken out of context. I stick by it. It was in the paper. It's an important event. When you go to anything, any city, when you see Silver Lake, Cauga Falls, Talmadge, Kent, and there's no Munroe Falls police car, I've got a problem with that. So that's, the laughter or whatever. For economic development and making the city a statement, you need the police car in the parade, especially to kick in the teeth to your hard-earned money. We didn't have one, we had two because of an accident and getting the money and buying a new vehicle. We had two SUVs sitting in the parking lot and none in the parade. Do I blame the chief for that? No. But it all starts at the top. And just like the Cleveland Browns, you don't need to mimic me, Mr. Paul. Thank you. Just like the Cleveland Browns, and I'm going to stick up for everybody from Mr. Stahl to me to the mayor, when you have a situation like this on a firing, there are legalities and you can't make statements publicly, and that's what's happened tonight. But I know a lot of you wanted it chapter and verse, and I would do the same thing if I was sitting out there and didn't understand it, but we've got to protect the city and the response, and if this thing ever turned into anything more, you can't make comments about some personnel matters, especially when somebody was relieved. So I apologize. I know it frustrated you. It frustrated me, but that's the way it has to be played out due to the circumstances. And the comment about heroin, I'm just going to say that I brought that, listen to that request the council tapes and hear what I asked on tape, so it's no exaggeration or no misquote by me. The question about 5 to 6 months ago was, hey, it's epidemic. I got some good friends that are undercover with the Akron Police Department, so I have inside information that meth was a problem, but the heroin is just outrageous. And they're not even worried about methadone. It's the heroin is the major thing over there because it's cheap and they close the mills down south and kids and everybody are picking this up. When I ask that question, I would expect the person on the other end that's a law enforcement to go, you're right. And I didn't hear a response that I thought was appropriate. And that's the one lady, Deb, had said, that's all that statement was. And those things she said were not reasons I said that the chief was fired. Make this clear in the public record. So these were issues I had with the chief, not that those issues were used by our mayor or our city council to release that police chief. Had nothing to do with it. So I want that on the record. That those are just comments that I had issues with the chief on those items, not the city, and those weren't used to release him. So we're all on the same, field on what happened. Thank you very much for coming tonight.
First of all, obviously Shane Stahl is my son. We did not discuss that. I mean, we discussed at home, but I'll tell you, he's an adult. He speaks for himself. We don't agree on everything, so I'll put that right out there. Secondly, I believe, I don't know, and you may want to ask Mr. Morrison when he gets here, the chief had to be served with a notice of termination. I believe that would be a public record. I'm not sure. And if it is, you can request such.
Mr. Arnott, one more comment. You mentioned about the chief and the lack of participation in the 4th of July parade. I think it's very inappropriate you brought it up in February and not any time after that. So that's what the public looks at. That is a negative statement about after he was let go. That's the way I appear to take that.
Mr. Iona did bring it up, I'm defensive of him shortly thereafter. But I would also say,
I brought up what
Silver Lake counties don't have to control traffic for the parade as Munroe Falls does. There's quite
I did not heard that after the fact. I apologize, but that's the way it seemed to me now. It's coming out in February.
And for those of you who don't know, the constant, and the rumors like the lady, and I did tell her that, rumors have flown ever since I grew up in Stowe, lived in Munroe Falls since '89. I've heard this, Steve can verify, there's always these stories that Stowe and Munroe Falls are going to merge with police departments. This stuff's always out there floating around. And I got several phone calls after that parade, like so the general public, or if you don't read the Stowe Century, if it ends up in your ditch and you don't see it, stories get out there, and it's like, we didn't need that one. We got enough problems in Munroe Falls, and there are a lot of sensitive issues, and that's one that we just kind of shot ourselves in the foot, that it would have been real simple to have that car in there. Am I blaming anybody? I just made a statement because I was trying to protect the chief and not say anything negative. There's no need for that. So that was just one of those that I felt that starts from the top. So thanks again.
The regular meeting will start in 11 minutes. I guess there'll be a motion to appoint chief, because it hasn't been decided yet.